Hi everybody, in this particular video we are going to cover LangGraph, the basics of LangGraph. It takes a little time to understand LangGraph the way we design LangGraph. However, LangGraph is one excellent uh, tool. It gives flexibility in a big way on how you want to build your entire system. Okay, so for now let's understand the key components of the system. uh, what we are going to essentially build right now is that we'll take a user input, we'll give it to node 1. This node 1 can be either function or tools, and there are two essential things in this. One is the nodes and the other is the edges. Edges is kind of wiring, a kind of circuitry on how you are going to enable all the components to be working in tandem. Okay, so in this particular case we are going to use two functions and we are going to have this simple equation. There is also a state machine attached to LangGraph. State machine basically enables or saves in the form of dictionary the output of all the functions, all the nodes, uh, and the function itself. Okay, so for now let's try and build this. Okay, so this is what we are going to do. I will take the user input and I will give it to function 1, and the output of this function 1 will go to function 2, and then that is going to be the graph output. Okay, so what is the function 1 is I am going to take input and I am going to add 5 to it, and the function 2 is I am going to square it. Okay, let's take this simple function for now. Okay, now let's build the graph of this whole thing. Okay, so here you can see that I have built node 1. Node 1 is going to be the function 1. Okay, node 2 is going to be the function 2. Here this is a function 1, function 2. Okay, now let's define the edges. We have finished defining the nodes. Edges basically is the wiring, the circuitry or the flow. So you can see that number 1, the entry point of this thing is going to be node 1. Okay, then there's going to be an edge from node 1 to node 2, and the finish point is going to be node 2. Let's do this simple thing and let's compile this app. Okay, and let's invoke this. So this essentially you can invoke like the way you've learned in our earlier video on LangChain expression language. So for now let me just invoke this 1. So what it will do is 1 plus 5, 6, and it will square the 6 and give you the output. So let's see this. So the answer is 36, which is the right answer. Okay, so for now let's restrict ourselves to this, where let's try and understand this again. Essentially what we have done here is, it is a very simple graph that we have built, where we have defined two functions. User input goes to the function 1, the output of the function 1 goes to the function 2, and function 2 is the end of it. So you can, by virtue of this diagram, you can see that the entry point is function 1, then from function 1 there is an edge to function 2, and from function 2 there is an output which is the end of the whole graph. Okay, so how do we define that is, here again I'll run through this. I have added two nodes, which is node 1 and node 2, which is function 1 and function 2. The names of the nodes I have mentioned here. From node 1 we are going to node 2, which is a fixed hard-coded edge. The entry point is node 1 and the finish point is node 2. We have compiled this graph and we have invoked this to get the output. Okay, so I hope this is clear. The next video will also try and cover a conditional edge and a state machine. Yeah, I hope you like this. Thanks a lot, guys.